I've been telling you guys for the last 2 days, and I've been torn between it.
You haven't told us anything. You've been teasing and giving us
I've been
a
teasing it,
matchup.
but I've been telling you guys that it's been pulling at me for the last couple of days as a fan and as an analyst. And I think that I finally have come to the conclusion that the Super Bowl I want to see.
All right.
And I have to pull rank here. I have to pull deference a little bit. I'm going to go with the guys in which I competed against.
Okay.
The guys who I know. My first ever NFL game playing, 2005, Thursday Night Football. My first game was against the New England Patriots. I didn't start that game, but literally after the first series, my defensive coordinator, Rob Ryan, said, "Get that dude out of here. Put Morrison in." And I never left.
Rob
Ryan.
Wow.
I started the next 95 consecutive games for the Raiders right after that because that was one in which I always remember, like sitting in that position of the middle linebacker of a defense. Because I was just a nickel linebacker. I was just a kind of coverage guys. And I remember looking across, and it was Tom Brady. And I looked and stared in his eyes for the first time. And he said, 52 is the mic. And I was like, oh, yeah, brother, I'm the mic. And I'm coming for you. But tackling Corey Dillon on that day, and Troy Brown and, Deion Branch, like I remember that. And I remember that dynasty that they had already created after beating, this was after they beat the Eagles, but, the prior victories before that, beating the Panthers and the Rams. So I'm taking the Patriots on one side because Tom Brady and what they've done. And could this be the only time that we see him in a Super Bowl again? Because we don't know what's going to happen after that.
Right.
And then I look on the NFC side, and I think I want Drew Brees to enter a company in which right now it's Manning, Roethlisberger, well, both Mannings. You could say Eli, Peyton. You could put in Ben Roethlisberger, quarterbacks that have won multiple Super Bowls in my era. Drew Brees can be that quarterback. He's only won one. He's only been to one Super Bowl. I would love to see Brady versus Brees Super Bowl. We could have got that matchup last year, but obviously we didn't. But I thought if Marcus Williams probably makes that play, I think the Saints going to Philadelphia, they roll, and we would have had Saints, Patriots, Brady, Brees. So the matchup that I want to see, Super Bowl 53 down in Atlanta, the New England Patriots and 41-year-old quarterback Tom Brady versus the New Orleans Saints and 40-year-old quarterback Drew Brees in something that, and I believe, Eric, we may have to double check this, but will this be the oldest starting quarterbacks ever in a Super Bowl? Has to be, right? Age 41 versus 40.
Has to be.
So
Crazy.
this not only could be the last Super Bowl that we see with these quarterbacks, especially, but the history of the game within these two. You know what I mean? All the accomplishments. This is almost like a not Academy Award, but a Lifetime Achievement Award Super Bowl.
Mount Rushmore Super Bowl. It could be the two greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Like these two will go down in history as, I think, top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL all time.
So that's Kirk Morrison, the football fan?
That's my football fan pick.
Okay.
That's my football fan pick. That's how I see it, man. That's what I want to see.
Now, is that different from Kirk Morrison, football analyst pick?
Now, Kirk Morrison, football analyst?
Yes.
I want to see Rams. I want to see Chiefs.
Yep.
That's what I want to see as an analyst. What I saw on Monday night leaving the Coliseum this year, November 19th, we'll never forget. Either the first football game that I've left and I didn't play, but yet I was exhausted. Like exhausted. I'd never been that exhausted from a game of just watching back and forth, back and forth. And think about it, the score 54-51.
It's nuts.
Like over 100 points. Both teams scored. Like you scored 50 points in the game, a 50 burger, but it was like they both gave up 50 burgers and somebody still had to win. And this wasn't even an overtime game. If we could just get 3/4 of that game or even half of that game, that would be probably one of the most entertaining, exciting Super Bowls of back-to-back scoring. That it also will be on in a dome, a nice controlled environment. It'll be speed on speed. It'll be great quarterbacks, the great running back minds. It's just everything for me. This will be a Super Bowl that I think you can't get up for a break. Think about it. You can't go like, I got to go use the restroom. Like,
You might miss a
you
play.
get up for the restroom, you're going to miss a score. Trust me, there were people in that press box that night who got up and they missed a touchdown, whether it was Tyreek Hill, whether it was Todd Gurley, whether it was Brandon Cooks. So to me as an analyst, I would love to see the rubber match. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see the rematch. I want to see the rematch, Chiefs, Rams, but the fan in me wants to see the two guys that I got a chance to compete with in the National Football League, Brady versus Brees, something that honestly they had the game. Was that this year? The Saints played the Patriots?
Last year.
Or last year?
Last year.
And we're like, why didn't we have this more? You know what I mean? Like, we saw that matchup, like, man, why didn't we have this more? Obviously, they're in different conferences, but to really see those two guys who are, to me, a definition of how to be a quarterback, be a leader. I mean, I can't think of the first player I think of when you say New Orleans Saints is Drew Brees, and that's going to go on forever, I think. And the first player I think of when you say New England Patriots, it's Brady. So to see those two guys elevate and be in a Super Bowl, that's what I want as a fan.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.